against the San Diego Padres. That's our matchup from Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego. Coming up, Eric Schau for San Diego, Adley Hammaker for the Giants.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, brought to you by New Bud Dry, the first beer cold filtered for smooth draft taste. And by
he'd lost a lot of his aggressiveness, so he moved him down in the order.
2-strike pitch. That's foul. 0-2 the count. Eric Schau, he missed a good portion of last year, had some surgery. And when he was gone, the Padres missed him.
Well, he's been a consistent winner for the Padres and been a guy that's given them a lot of consistent innings over the last few years. So anytime you lose a guy like that, you're going to miss him.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Robbie Thompson.
I think one of the things that's very important when you think about a pitcher is not just how many games he wins, how many he loses, but how many innings he gives a team over the course of a year. You need those innings from your starters.
Here's the 1-2 pitch to Thompson. In the right center to Quinn. An easy play. Gold Glover takes it. 2 down. Jack Murphy Stadium used to be a gigantic ballpark. Now they've brought in the fences a little bit. You see 327 to the foul post, 370 to the power alleys, and 405 feet to straightaway center field. And you've got 75 feet between home plate and the backstop. Joe, back in the days when you played here,
it was a big ballpark, like you said. It was 414 to straightaway center field, plus that 17-foot-high wall. You had to hit the ball all the way into the seat, so any drive you hit had to be over 400 feet to get it out in any direction.
And this guy can certainly do it. He did it last night. He hit one over both of those walls and into the crowd down the right field line against Bruce Hurst. Will Clark.
I think Will Clark may not get a chance to show what he can do today. I think Eric Schau is the type of pitcher that he knows that he matches up better against Kevin Mitchell than he does Will Clark. So unless Will Clark is in a situation where he has to pitch to him, I don't expect him to really give Will Clark a lot of good pitches to hit, especially with men in scoring position.
Ball and a strike. When Clark hit the home run last night against Hurst, it not only put his ball club ahead, a lead they never gave up, but it was a milestone for him. His 100th career home run. And that's ball 2. 2 balls, 1 strike. Now, Will Clark, one of the great hitters in the game. I mean, would you put in there with anybody? Mattingly, Brett, Boggs?
Well, you know, I don't see Mattingly and Boggs every day or as much as I see Will Clark. But I don't think you can have a better hitter, pure hitter, than Will Clark is at this particular time in his career. He's just a pure hitter, and I think he'll get better.
That's a base hit. Look out. Gerald Clark fell over. Will Clark is going to turn that into a double. He's going to try for 3. And he's going to make it easily. So a routine single, and it is officially a triple. Just what a bad
well,
break there for Gerald Clark.
That's really a tough break for a rookie. You know, he's getting a start in left field, and Will Clark lines the ball. You can see the grass may be a little wet or whatever. He did as much as he could. He still made an attempt at it after he fell down, but that happens in the outfield sometimes. But a rookie is saying to himself right now, why me in front of all these people?
First triple of the year for Will Clark. And now here is Kevin Mitchell. Want to watch him closely. Hitting 3-0. He's got a couple of home runs, but he's, from what you've seen, Joe, just not the same, I guess.
He's not quite the same Kevin Mitchell as we saw last year. He has problems with his wrist. He's actually got a bone spur in his right wrist. And what happens is he ends up hitting a lot of balls to right field that carry right to the warning track, whereas last year those balls he was able to drive out of the ballpark. And he's got a little more of an inside-out swing this year than he had last year.
That's a base hit and a run batted in. That's all he needed to get the RBI there because of the single turned into a triple.
Well, Kevin Mitchell has proven to me that he is a good RBI man. When it calls for a base hit, he goes for a base hit. When he needs the extra base hit, he goes for it. And here, Schau ends up throwing him a high palm ball, and you'll see Mitchell stride out, and I see him wait. He has to wait on this pitch a little bit and extend to it, and he just drives it into left field. That's a very good swing on that pitch. Didn't try to hit it too hard.
Where did Shaw want to get that foul ball?
Well, he got it down. I think he just wanted to get it a little more away. The ball was down, but Mitchell is also a very good low ball hitter.
Here's one of the new Giants, Kevin Bass, formerly of the Houston Astros. He's a switch hitter, batting left-handed. Out of play, foul, 0-1 the count. 1-0, Giants out in front. There was nothing happening here, then all of a sudden Will Clark and Kevin Mitchell, just like old times for the Giants.
Well, those are the two guys that have to make it happen for the Giants, and as I mentioned, as long as Will Clark gets on base, Kevin Mitchell will usually pick him up. That's why he led the league in RBIs last year.
And one of the things that was so amazing last year, I mean, it was amazing no matter how you looked at it with what Kevin Mitchell did, 47 home runs, but the people hitting behind him didn't hit. Now they've got Kevin Bass to try and protect him a little bit. Easy play for Roberto Alomar. And that's the inning. Bass is off to a very slow start. The Giants get the run. The Sock Exchange is open and ready for business. We'll be back.
This is the amazing new GE Crystal Clear cordless telephone, which comes with this ingenious any-room recharge crate. So you can recharge it in any room you like. Of course, it also has this remarkable crystal clear sound. There. You hear it? Of course you don't. There's virtually no static, so there's nothing to hear.
The new GE Crystal Clear cordless telephone. You have to not hear it to believe it.
Okay. All right. For you. He's not taking any calls.
The real test of a power mower is starting it easily on the first pull. That's why Sears is putting 100 Craftsman Eager One mowers on the line. Look at that. 99 first pull starts out of 100. No wonder there are more Craftsmen on the job than any other brand.
And now through Saturday during Sears Show and Sale, this 3.5 horsepower Craftsman lawnmower is only $199. So don't miss it.
John Miller and Joe Morgan back here as you look from across the street at Jack Murphy Stadium. Time now for our Sears diehard starting lineup for the hometown Padres. It'll be Bip Roberts, a fine leadoff man at third base. Roberto Alomar at second base. Batting champion Tony Gwynn in right field. Jack Clark at first base hitting cleanup. Joe Carter in center field. Benito Santiago is the catcher. Gerald Clark in left field. Gary Templeton, the veteran shortstop, hitting eighth, and the pitcher Eric Shao.
And the defense for the San Francisco Giants will have Kevin Bass in right field. Brett Butler is the center fielder. Kevin Mitchell is in left. Matt Williams is the third baseman. And today, Riles will be at shortstop. Ernest Riles instead of Jose Uribe. Second base is Robbie Thompson. Will Clark's at first. Behind the plate is Terry Kennedy. And on the mound, left-hander Adley Hamilton.
Adley Hamilton 0-1, but now as a starter, he's been working in the bullpen.
Well, Adley has done very well in the bullpen because they only get to see him once or maybe twice in a ball game. I think that's been his downfall as a starter.
Here's his first pitch to Bip Roberts, a switch hitter batting right-handed, and it's strike one. 1-0, Giants out in front here. Bip Roberts off to a start, but he is a guy that they're very excited about here, Joe. This is Robbie Thompson. Plenty of time, and there is one away. Bip Roberts really turned into quite a fine leadoff hitter midway through last year.
Well, he was a very good hitter for him, and he was really one of their most valuable players on their ball club because he could play all the positions, infield and outfield. And he gave McKeon a chance to just use him in the lineup every day, and I think he did a very good job for the Padres.
Now here is Roberto Alomar, and another fellow did quite a job. Very young fellow, Alomar, only 21. He hit .295 last year. And it's a strike.
And he actually showed a lot of range at second base. You know, he needs to improve on his 28 errors he made last year, but he has a lot of range, and he gets to a lot more balls than some other second basemen might get to.
1 ball, 1 strike. 1 out, nobody on. 1-0, the Giants out in front. Alomar, as you see, never had a hit against Hamilton. Broken back grounder to Riles. 2 down.
Hamilton features a fastball, a split-fingered fastball, and a slider. He said on occasion the slider will look like a curveball when he takes a little off of it, but basically it's still a slider. And I think that's just a matter of semantics there, because a slider to me is a ball that breaks a little flatter, but a lot of pitchers call their curveballs sliders, or they call it a slur, which is half curve, half slider.
Well, let's just pick a name for it, Joe, and we'll stick with it. The heck with what Adley calls it. 2 down, nobody on now. We talked about Will Clark and one of the great hitters in the game. Well, here's a perennial batting champion, Tony Gwynn.
Well, he's won 3 straight National League batting championships. I think the interesting thing about the 3 that he's won is the numbers he did it with. He won in 1987. He hit 370. 88 he won again, but he only hit 313, and I say only. And then in 89 he hit 336 to win his 3rd consecutive batting title, beating out Will Clark, the Giants first baseman, by 3 percentage points, 0.03 of a percentage point.
Falling in a hurry, but Brett Butler is able to make a basket catch. So the Padres go down in order. Giants lead 1-0 after 1 here in San Diego.
Give your kids the competitive edge in their favorite sports with America's best selection of instructional sports videos, only from ESPN. Regularly $39.95, now just $29.95 each if you call 1-800-554-9000. Top coaches in basketball, football, baseball, soccer, and tennis teach your kids the basics and help them develop a lifelong love for the sports and a winning attitude. Now on video cassettes your kids can play again and again. Just $29.95 each, and only from ESPN Home Video. Coaches like University of Arizona's Jerry Kindle show your kids how to improve their game and add to their fun. This 75-minute video cassette demonstrates winning fundamentals of fielding, hitting, pitching, catching, and sliding. $29.95 never lets you do so much for a kid. Call 1-800-554-9000 for teaching kids baseball or your free catalog of videos only from ESPN Home Video.
Call now and you can have 13 weeks of the Wall Street Journal and this valuable 120-page guide to understanding money and markets. That's 13 weeks of the Journal for the news and ideas you need every business day. And this guide free, which tells you everything you want to know about money and markets, now for only $34. Call toll-free 800-832-8700. Today's Wall Street Journal. Faster, tougher, smarter. Call 800-832-8700 now.
Tuesday night, it's a meeting of the 300 Club when Wade Boggs and the Red Sox face the Angels. Then batting champ Tony Gwynn leads the Padres against the Cubs. Tuesday night, live on ESPN.
Baseball tonight.
It's the Giants and the Padres. John Miller along with Joe Morgan from Jack Murphy Stadium. Don't forget, coming up Tuesday, an ESPN doubleheader starting at 7:30 Eastern with, from Fenway Park, the Red Sox and the Angels. And what a matchup for that one. It'll be Mark Langston going for the California Angels and Roger Clemens for Boston. And even Joe Morgan might pay his way in to see that one.
I'll definitely be watching because Roger Clemens is actually one of my favorite pitchers to watch. I enjoy watching him pitch.
This is Matt Williams against Eric Shaw. 1-0, Giants ahead. Matt Williams, he hit 44 home runs between the minors and the majors last year. And seemed to, Joe, I know you saw him a lot, seemed to get better as the games became more important.
Well, he spent a lot of time in the minor leagues last year, and when he came back up, he was a new hitter. He was hitting the ball to right field, hitting the ball to left center. He wasn't just a dead pull hitter anymore.
Joe Carter, center fielder. Plenty of room in shallow left center. One away. Somebody down from the Bay Area, looks like.
Speaking of the newspaper, we'll have to get into some of that a little later on, but there were some quotes attributed to some of the Padres that the Giants didn't like very much this past week.
Here's the veteran Terry Kennedy. Ball 1. Kennedy, a former Padre. When he played here, he was an all-star and kind of resurrected his career last year with the Giants.
Terry's always been a fine hitter. And I think, you know, that's one good thing. If you're a good hitter as a young guy, if you stay around long enough, you really learn how to hit. Early in your career, you basically do it on just ability. That's why I say Will Clark is going to become a real great hitter one of these days, because he's just doing it with ability now, and he's learning more about hitting every day.
2 balls, 1 strike, Terry Kennedy. The Giants, talk about veteran receivers. You got Terry Kennedy numerous times an all-star in both leagues. with the Orioles over the American League, and Gary Carter now is sharing the duties with him.
Well, they've got a perfect left-right combination with a lot of experience.
Ball 3, 3-1.
There you see Gary Carter on the screen, but they're going to need that because, as we mentioned in the opening, the Giants pitching staff is in shambles, and you need veteran receivers to be able to calm down the veterans and to teach the new guys, the young kids, how to pitch in the major leagues.
Gary Carter had an important base hit last night. 4-run rally for the Giants to help win. Full count now to Kennedy, 3-2.
What we see from Eric Shaw here is that he's pitching the left-handers away, and he's trying to stay away from the right-handers, and he has a good enough fastball, like when he gets behind 3-1, he can hit the outside corner with the fastball as he did there with Kennedy.
Joe Carter. And he went for this one. 2 men gone. Roger Craig, flanked by a couple of his lieutenants. That's on the right of your screen, Norm Sherry, pitching coach.
Bob Lillis is on the left, former manager with the Houston Astros. And they're asking Terry Kennedy what that pitch was. It looked like a fastball, just down and away, but it could have done a little more, had a little more movement on it from on the field than we could see from up here.
This is Ernest Riles, and he takes a strike. Riles still looking for his first hit of the year. Uribe, the regular shortstop, getting the night off.
When you put Riles in the lineup, you get a lot more offense, but you lose something defensively because Jose is one of the better shortstops in the major leagues, Jose Uribe. When he plays, he's a very good defensive shortstop. But he has not been hitting very well, and Ernest Riles is more of an offensive threat than Jose is. So they're going for offense tonight.
Riles hit .278 last year for the Giants. And it's ball 2, 2-1. They got him. They traded away Jeffrey Leonard to Milwaukee, and Leonard had no success in Milwaukee, and then he ended up in Seattle. But the Giants have gotten a lot more, I think, than a lot of people thought they would from Riles.
Well, I agree with him because when the trade was first made, I didn't think they got enough for Jeffrey Leonard. But Ernest Riles has proved to be a very good asset to the Giants.
Gerald Clark. Oh, he's having some problems tonight. And Riles is going to run. He's going for third as Carter picks up the ball. And Riles is going to stand at third.
You know, you have to feel for a young kid like Gerald Clark who gets a chance to play. And he could probably play left field for the next 5 years here and not have these two things happen to him again. There you see Jack McKinn taking a look at it. This he just misplayed. The other one he fell down. Actually, he charged the ball. He thought he had a chance to catch it in the air, and then it sunk on him, and all he could do was try to block it. You can see he tries to block it, but it just bounces over his glove.
Gerald Clark, 26 years of age. He's out of Texas. Been in AAA the last couple of years. Just a few brief looks here with the Padres. Pitchers up now. Atlee Hammaker called strike 1.
Hammaker, unlike a lot of pitchers, is not an automatic out. Hammaker hit very well last year. As you can see, he hit .368 and only 19 at bats, but that's still good hitting for a pitcher. That's good hitting for anybody.
Tony Gwynn numbers there. Here's Roberto Alomar. Hammaker hustling up the line, but he's out. So no harm on the error. That was a single. Error 7 by Riles. 1-0 Giants after 1.5.
A lot of cars reach 60,000 miles, but only 3 have done it in just 19 days. And every one was a Subaru. The durable, reliable 4-wheel drive Subaru Legacy. At an average speed of 138 miles an hour, the Legacy hasn't just proven itself. It's taken less time to do it than any other car in the world.
Factory-to-dealer cash incentives on selected models make it a great time to come into your Subaru dealer.
After the scraping, after soothes, after the burning, after soothes, after aftershave skin conditioner. Nothing's more soothing after.
Kendall's the cool for your caddy, the juice for your jag. It's the jolt in your coat, and what wins is the drag.
You want to add life to the life of your car? Give it the good stuff. Kendall Motor Oil. Pour it in and pour it on.
It's the push in your pickup, the zap in your seat, the revs in your turbo, and the heart of your Lando GT. Pour it in, pour it on, pour in the Kendall, and
San Diego. Giants won, Padres nothing. Last of the second. We asked Jack McKeon about his big slugger, Jack Clark.
Jack Clark, he's a pro. People sometimes misread Jack Clark, but he's probably the most respected guy in the clubhouse by all his players.
And there he is, Jack Clark. That's a drive deep into right center field. This one way back there, and it is gone. A home run. Tied up.
Well, when Jack Clark hits them, you know they're gone. It doesn't matter how big the ballpark is or how small. When he puts a charge into one, it's gone. And I've commented to him lately that it looks like he's going all or nothing. Every swing, he's really trying to drive the ball out of the ballpark.
His third home run. First ball swinging here in the second.
Hammaker tries to get the ball away, but he doesn't get it far enough away, as you can see. And Jack Clark goes the other way with it. I think Hammaker's surprised because he thought Jack was going to try to pull that pitch. But Jack went the other way with it. That's a good piece of hitting.
Now here's more power. Joe Carter, he takes a strike. It's 0-1. Formerly of the Cleveland Indians. Power hitter in the American League. Big run producer. And Joe, he's been a disappointment early here in San Diego.
Well, I think one of the problems that Joe Carter's having is adjusting to a new league. Hitters like to know how the pitchers want to pitch them. And he's new to this league, so he doesn't know exactly how each pitcher wants to throw to him. He knew all the pitchers in the American League. He knew which ones would come inside, which ones wanted to pitch him away. Here he doesn't have that. He doesn't know exactly what they're going to do. Each team is probably pitching him differently now so that they can find out what his weakness actually is.
1-2 the count. He can run well. Riles has to hurry. Just got it. Pretty good play there by Ernest Riles. So Carter continues to have his problems.
Well, Carter hit the ball in the hole, and he runs well, as you mentioned, but I think that shows the problems that he's having. He's really just swinging with his arms. It was a pitch low in the strike zone, and he just rolled his wrist over. He's not getting any drive from the lower part of his body. He's just using all arms, which tells me that he is not really comfortable here in the National League yet. He's not using any lower part, any leg drive.
That was Benito Santiago. Didn't get real good wood on this one. And Mitchell takes it out number 2. Being very aggressive right now against Atlee Hammaker.
Well, I think one of the things you find is when you have a left-handed pitcher on the mound and you have some strong right-handed hitters, they will be aggressive against a left-handed pitcher because he doesn't have a pitch that breaks away from them. You know, the right-handers have the sliders that break down and away, so they have to wait a little longer. Against left-handed pitchers, they can be a little more aggressive.
Gerald Clark, the hitter, had a tough night already out in left field. He has never hit below 300 at any level in the minor leagues. Hasn't played much, as you see, this year. That's out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hey, a night at the ballpark.
Hot dogs.
Thanks, Dad. I love these ball games. How about some popcorn next? 1 ball, 1 strike to Gerald Clark. And out of play again.
This is the first time I've seen Gerald Clark actually play a ball game. But I tell you what, the way he swings the bat, I can understand why he's hit 300 every place he's played. He has a very quick, compact swing, which is unusual for a tall guy. Usually they have a long swing. But he's got a very quick, compact swing.
2 down. The 1-2 pitch on the way. Riles gets a nice friendly hop. And that's the inning. There goes Gerald Clark and the Padres. They've tied it, though, on Jack Clark's homer, 1-1.
Introducing new extra-strength Rolaids, 250 milligrams stronger than Tums EX, 1,000 milligrams of fast relief. This settles it, once and for all.
Red Devil enamel. You can always count on its durable finish. Harder than ordinary paints, its beauty lasts and lasts. Red Devil enamel for the finish of a lifetime.
When I bite into a York peppermint patty, I get the sensation Arctic air is swooping in from the north. And a major snowstorm is sweeping the nation. Icebergs in California?
York peppermint patty. Get the sensation. Hey, good hustle, son. Way to go into the stands, babe.
Hey, you really killed yourself out there today, kid. You don't have to be a Major League ball player to need Major League pain relief. Bengay Sports Balm. Real relief for sore muscles.
Imagine a place that, well, defines the color green. A place where everyone is welcome and wanted. Where there are no strangers, really. Just friends you haven't met. A place where hot dogs and peanuts are delicacies. Where people shout with, not at each other. And for a moment, everyone just seems to be the same age. A place so familiar, and yet with each visit feels exciting and new. Join us at the ballpark. You can call it home, too.
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
Years ago today, Tom Seaver, through 8 innings, had struck out 16 San Diego Padres, including the last 7 in a row. Van Kelly and Cito Gaston were his next victims, and then Al Ferrara struck out to end the game. And Tom Terrific had tied a then Major League record with 19 strikeouts and set a record with 10 consecutive strikeouts. And that's the way it was 20 years ago today. Today, we're in San Diego. John Miller along with Joe Morgan. Top of the batting order coming up here for the Giants. Brett Butler, Robbie Thompson, and Will Clark against Eric Shaw. The game now tied. And first ball swinging is Butler. Roberto Alomar throws him out. So we got some aggressive hitters on both sides here.
Well, that's unusual for Butler because, you know, he's a leadoff hitter, and Butler does take a lot of pitches, or he fakes bunts. He does a few things to make the pitcher work. But he set on the fastball there, and he got the fastball, and he tried to get a base hit.
Robbie Thompson hit a fly ball his first time. Robbie showing the butt there. Is he an accomplished butter?
No, I think what happened is Brett Butler hit the first pitch of the inning, and you do not want to make 2 outs on 2 pitches. So the next guy's job is to take a pitch.
Oh, wow. Look out, Will Clark on deck. Half of that bat went hurtling rather scarily right toward Will Clark.
Well, I mentioned earlier that Eric Shaw was not afraid to throw his fastball inside, and I think you'll get a look at Robbie Thompson trying to handle that inside fastball. Robbie must have been looking for a breaking ball. You can see that fastball is right in on his hands, and he breaks the bat and hits a weak ground ball back to Eric Shaw.
2 down, and here is Will Clark now with 2 down and nobody out in the first. He hit a sinking liner into left that turned into a triple when Gerald Clark slipped and fell going after it. So Will is 1 for 1. He's off to a great start this year. 1-1.
That's what you see with Eric Shaw. Will Clark went the other way last time up for a single, so he throws it out there again. And now he'll probably go back inside. He'll move the ball in and out on Will Clark. I think that's what he has to do. He tries to get in again.
Quinn back. He's got it.
Well, he tried to get inside, but Will Clark was probably thinking inside as well.
Well, it worked. 1-1 after 2.5 innings from San Diego. We'll be back.
So we put in this new central air, and our bills are really...
Down?
Exactly.
Must be a Lennox.
Lennox Heating and Air Conditioning. Since 1895. Must be a Lennox.
Attaboy, Dave.
Life's full of simple pleasures, like the comfort of Levi's jeans. Or had you forgotten?
Why should I have to wait a week for my dealer to fix my brakes just because I own a foreign car?
For foreign car brakes, Midas gets the job done right, and right away.
I wouldn't settle for anything less than the right parts.
Midas stocks the right brake parts for practically every foreign car.
So I went to Midas.
Midas brake technicians are trained experts. That's why we guarantee every brake shoe and pad for as long as you own your foreign car. Nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
A lot of cars reach 60,000 miles, but only 3 have done it in just 19 days. And every one was a Subaru. The durable, reliable four-wheel drive Subaru Legacy. At an average speed of 138 miles an hour, the Legacy hasn't just proven itself. It's taken less time to do it than any other car in the world.
Factory to dealer cash incentives on selected models make it a great time to come into your Subaru dealer.
In the game, both the Giants and Padres were worried about. Cincinnati going for 10 in a row, did not get it. Dale Murphy in the very first inning took Tom Browning over the left field wall just inside the foul pole to left. The final, Atlanta 3, Cincinnati 1.
Thank you, Dave Barish. At baseball tonight, we're here Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. Last of the third inning, Gary Templeton, the hitter, against Atlee Hammaker, a 1-1 tie. Templeton, 34 years of age, and he's still going at it after all of these years. And he hits one to his opposite number, Riles. One away in the third.
This is Jack Clark hitting the home run his last time up, so you stop it right there. One good thing is you look at Jack Clark, see his front arm is straight, and look at the elevation. He's leaning back on the back leg a little bit. That allows him to elevate the ball. That's almost a perfect swing. You can see all power hitters will get into that position.
There's a fair ball hit by Eric Schau down the left field line, and he's going to have an easy double as Mitchell retrieves it. Eric Schau, he hit .235 last year. Not a bad average for a pitcher.
Hammaker often loses his concentration in the lower part of the batting order. That's been one of the things that he's had trouble with over his career. Here's a pitcher, look at that, it's right down the middle and not a lot on it, and Eric Schau is able to pull it down into the corner.
Schau looked a lot like Jack Clark in that demonstration.
It reminds you a little bit of all the power hitters as I was talking about. But one of the things we'll try to illustrate using the telestrator is that the power hitters get themselves into one good solid position, and that's a lot of weight on the back leg and good strong upper part of the body.
Here's Bip Roberts. Now he's not a power hitter. He likes to hit line drives, hard ground balls, that sort of thing. Switch hitter, batting right-handed. Ball one. He grounded out his first time. Bip off to a real slow start. Jack McKeon was saying, Joe, as you see what he did last year from either side of the plate, he thinks Bip Roberts is trying too hard to get his stats back up to where they were last year.
Well, he's started to play every day, and he's trying to justify he's been in the lineup.
Out of play, 1 ball, 1 strike to Bip. Trader Jack.
Well, Jack's one of my favorite managers, not because of his strategy, not because of his trading or anything. I like Jack because he doesn't take himself too seriously. He just says baseball is what it's all about, the game itself, and I'm just part of it. And I really like that type of attitude, not only from the managers, but the players. I think it should be fun.
And they've got Schau hung up. Matt Williams over to Thompson. Runs him towards third, and Matt Williams will tag him out.
Well, that's because Eric Schau is not used to being on base, although he is a pretty good hitter on occasion.
Schau, I guess, got out there and said, well, I'm on base, now what?
Bip Roberts hits the ball hard, but you can see Matt Williams is playing in, protecting against the bunt. And now he comes up with it, and Schau doesn't have time to get back to second. So now they've got him in a pickle as Robbie Thompson runs him to Matt Williams, who eventually makes the tag. And they do all that quick enough so that Bip Roberts could not move up to second base.
Here is Roberto Alomar now with 2 down and a runner at first base. But Bip Roberts is liable not to stay there too long. Hammaker, mindful of that, tosses over there. 1-1 tie, last of the third inning. Roberts stole 21 times last year.
Hammaker, his move is just normal, ordinary for a left-hander. He doesn't have a great move. He doesn't have a poor move. He raises his leg pretty high, which gives the runner plenty of time if you can read which way he's going. He has to deceive you with his motion because his leg kick to the plate is very slow.
1 ball and no strikes to count. Roberts has stolen 2 bases this year in 2 tries. Roberto Alomar, he's not a power hitter. He's not real likely to drive home this runner from first base. They're taking pains to keep him over there. Joe, when you were stealing bases, when a guy, a left-hander like this, made those throws, was that made it tough on you or not?
I always liked for the guy to throw over there, the left-hander, so I could see what he was going to do when he comes to first base. And then I knew what he was going to do when he was going to the plate. If he did anything differently, I knew where he was going. I always liked for left-handers to throw over. I didn't like for right-handers to throw as much because I felt like I already knew. But left-handers, I like to see them try to pick me off 1 or 2 times while I was at first base.
And that's a ball. 2-0 the count. Now we had the shot as the pitch came in. It didn't look like Biff Roberts was flinching at all there.
Well, but he wasn't going anyplace. He was just standing there. And as I mentioned, Hadley has a high leg kick, which gives you time to get back or time to take off. See, he doesn't have a real big lead at first base.
Easy play for Bass in right field. And that is the inning. 1 hit for the Padres. The Shaw double. 1 left. We're a third of the way through it. It's the Giants 1 and the Padres 1 in San Diego.
This guy's really hot.
You should have seen him in '86.
This is 1986 baseball card. These cards are all from my favorite team in the 80s.
Own a unique collection of your favorite Topps team cards, specially packaged by Baseball Cards of America. 25 different cards from your team's 1980s rosters. Valuable cards never to be printed again. Plus, you get every card from your favorite 1990 Topps team set. Over 50 cards for $24.95. Order now and get this, too. The official Baseball Cards of America Collector's Magazine. Free with your paid order to help you collect even more valuable cards. You'll also get a specially designed team album to preserve your card's investment value. That's over 50 cards from your favorite team, the Baseball Card Magazine, and the card album, all for $24.95. Call now before someone else gets all the cards. If you collect baseball cards for fun or profit, order your favorite team now.
Spring and summer means getting outdoors to enjoy the beauty of our environment. Hi, I'm Martina Navratilova, a member and supporter of the Sierra Club. This summer, enjoy the environment without harming it. When traveling, don't leave garbage behind. And if you find someone else's, pick it up. Don't break tree limbs or pick flowers. The key is to leave the land the way you found it, or even better. For more information on what you can do, contact the Sierra Club. You can make a world of difference.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, brought to you by Levi's 505 and 506 jeans. By the Upjohn Company. If you're concerned about hair loss, see your doctor. And by Midas and its dealers across the country. Nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
Jack Murphy Stadium, man. These Padre fans, they just can't get them out here too early. Everybody loves the Padres in San Diego. Kevin Mitchell with strike 1. Mitchell singled home the Giants run with a clutch 2-out single back in the first inning.
Johnny, tell me my telestrator drawings didn't get on the air. I've been waiting 5 weeks to use the telestrator, and it didn't work on Jack Clark. So we'll have to do it again later on.
Well, maybe a critique on your artistic abilities. Base hit. Oh, Mitchell with the sore wrist and everything. 2 for 2, and a little sarcastic cheer there for Gerald Clark, who had nothing go wrong that time.
We'll get a look at Kevin's swing here. And this is be the swing of a power hitter. There. The similarities between he and Jack Clark and Will Clark will be right there. Good balance down the middle and good arm extension on the arms. And good extension. Perfect swing right there. The only reason it didn't go out of the park, he didn't get any elevation on it. He hit it hard enough.
That style to hit 47 out of the park last year. Here is Kevin Bass. He's 0 for 1. A switch hitter. So to first by Santiago. From his knees. A trademark for Benito.
Really, it's really not doing him a service by saying he likes to throw. He loves to throw to the bases. I mean, this guy loves to have men on base, I believe, just so he can throw. picked off quite a few guys last year, and he throws from his knees. Watch, see, that's how he gets rid of the ball so quickly. And he has a strong enough arm that he can do that. Most catchers have to straighten up to throw. He throws from his knees.
Well, even when they straighten up, they don't quite throw as hard as Santiago. That's out of play off the third base side. 2 strikes to count to Kevin Bass. Matt Williams is on deck. Bass, a 275 lifetime hitter. He's got a little power. Had some pretty good years down in the Astrodome. And they're hoping for him to repeat that success here with the Giants. He's off to a slow start, however.
Roger Craig was telling me before the ballgame that he actually loves to have a switcher behind Kevin to protect him. You know, that helps more than having just the right-handed hitter, say, like Matt Williams, because then they may choose to pitch to Matt Williams. But a lot of times you have a switcher behind him, they will pitch to Kevin Mitchell, and that's why he moved Kevin Bass down to that slot yesterday, and they won, so he's left him there again this afternoon.
I don't know. People were kind of surprised earlier this year when Bass was hitting second, and that most people thought they got him to hit fifth.
Well, that's what I thought. But Matt Williams' emergence last year, the second half, convinced him to hit him fifth at the beginning.
Deep into right field. Gwynn is just going to watch this one. Gone, a home run. 3-1 San Francisco.
And like I said before the ballgame, I love to see hitters hit.
Well, that was a home run under the old dimensions in this ballpark. And there's a few Giants fans down here. Bass with his second home run for the Giants. 3-1 San Francisco.
Here's Kevin Bass driving it. You can see that's a breaking ball, and it starts down and in. And this is where a lot of left-handed hitters really have power, down and in. And you can see that ball breaking down and in. Santiago's gloves going after it, but Mitchell drives it. Bass drives it out of the ballpark.
And Williams drives it out of the ballpark, but foul. Matt Williams has got enormous power. Blasted one, but very much foul. Williams has yet to hit a home run this year. Well, that's the formula the Giants want to see this year, with people respecting Kevin Bass.
Exactly. Well, I don't think they really care. You know, it's like the Jack Clark, Joe Carter situation.
In the air, but routine for Carter in center field. High fly ball hit. One away.
What I mean by that is it doesn't matter who drives in the runs. So if they walk Jack Clark and Joe Carter hits the ball out of the ballpark or picks up the run, the team still gets the run. That's what you put a guy behind the fourth place hitter for. And the same thing with the Giants. It doesn't matter if they walk Kevin Mitchell if Kevin Bass can pick them up. And Bass has driven in a lot of runs hitting behind Glenn Davis in Houston.
Terry Kennedy, the hitter. We've got 1 out and 2 runs in. The Giants out in front here, 3-1 in San Diego in the 4th inning. And it's a ball. 2 balls, no strikes to Terry Kennedy.
There you see Kevin Bass down on the right. And when I was talking to him yesterday, he said that he was just not aggressive enough. He said hitting in the second slot, he's just been trying to guide the ball through the infield.
That's foul. 2-1 to Kennedy. Bass is going to be 31 years old in about, well, less than a month. And when he came back to play for the Giants, he's coming home. He's from the San Francisco Bay Area. Born in Redwood City on the peninsula, just a few miles south of Candlestick Park. Terry Kennedy. Jack Clark. He knows his runners. Kennedy's not very fast, to say the least. Clark took it himself.
We talked about Eric Shaw and Adley Hammaker. Hammaker is a smooth, stylish left-hander. Eric Shaw has a little bit of jerkiness in his motion, but you can see he tries to hide the ball as long as possible, and he kind of comes 3/4, and he follows through, but he uses more of his arm than you'd like to see in a pitcher. He doesn't really drive with his legs, which is probably one of the reasons he's had arm problems.
2 down in the inning. Ernest Riles, ball 1. He singled to left his first time. The ball got past Gerald Clark for a 2-base error. Riles ended up on third, but he was stranded there. 3-1, the Giants ahead. We're in the 4th. 2-0 the count.
So when you watch Shaw, when he gets to the top of his motion, then it looks like it's all arm. And that puts a lot of strain on your elbow and your shoulders. He really doesn't use his legs drive through the pitch as well as you would like.
2-1. Shao has won as many as 16 games for San Diego. And we were talking about it earlier, Joe. I mean, he's always given them the innings. They've been able to kind of pencil in 220, 230 innings every year with him until last year. 3-1.
Well, he's a quality major league pitcher. I mean, no doubt about it. And he knows how to pitch. He knows how to use the tools that he has. As I mentioned, he moves the fastball in and out, and his palm ball is really his big pitch.
And a walk. Ernest Riles drawing the first walk issued by Eric Shao. And that brings up Atlee Hammaker. Shao's 34, or he will be in about a month. So he has a few things to prove this year. Can he come back? He had the fairly serious surgery. He had 3 fragments that were pressing against the nerves in the back. Removed. And they removed the lumbar 5 disc. A lot of people wonder about that. Which number it was. It was number 5.
Number 5. That's 5-3.
3-1 Giants.
The real test of a power mower is starting it easily on the first pull. That's why Sears is putting 100 Craftsman Eager 1 mowers on the line. Look at that. 99 first pull starts out of 100. No wonder there are more Craftsmen on the job than any other brand.
And now through Saturday during Sears Show and Sale, this 3.5 horsepower Craftsman lawnmower is only $199. So don't miss it.
Hey, little guy, you're beginning to look a lot like your daddy. Pretty soon you're gonna be growing hair. I'm starting to lose mine, so I just did something lots of us big guys are doing. I went to the doctor. He said there are things that can help. Hey, just because we start out bald doesn't mean we have to end up that way.
Doctors have treatment programs that work. So see your doctor or call this number.
BF Goodrich TA tires perform like great athletic shoes. They grab. They dig. They give you control.
BF Goodrich TA tires.
BF Goodrich TA tires, the athletic shoes for your car.
BF Goodrich TA tires.
Red Devil enamel. You can always count on its durable finish. Harder than ordinary paint, its beauty lasts and lasts. Red Devil enamel for the finish of a lifetime.
The high-speed fender-banging battles of a short track make it anyone's race.
And both of them spin! And Jeff Bodine takes the lead.
NASCAR's first Union 400, Monday night, only on ESPN.
A beautiful night in San Diego. The Giants leading the Padres 3-1 as Tony Gwynn leads it off for San Diego. And the power's coming up. You got Gwynn, then Jack Clark, and Joe Carter.
Well, these are the guys that they count on, you know, to do most of their run producing during the year. These are the guys that have to do it for them.
And it's strike 1 to Gwynn. Gwynn flied out to shallow center his first time. Impresses me about Gwynn is he get out of the way of that one. 1 ball, 1 strike. Is the dedication he has.
He has a lot of dedication to hitting, and he understands hitting. I think that's 50% of the battle right there, just understanding what hitting is all about.
Will Clark over to Hammaker. Nice backhand pass right there. Little Magic Johnson move by Will Clark.
And Hammaker pitched Gwynn very well. Then he started him off with a breaking ball outside, and then he came in hard with a fastball, and again he came hard with a fastball. I think this is one of the underrated parts of Will Clark's game here. I think what happens is you become a hitter, and they think of you as a hitter. They forget that you can play defense, and Will Clark's hitting overshadows his defense. When he first came up, he was just a so-so first baseman, but I think he's really worked hard at it, and he's become a pretty good first baseman now.
Here's Jack Clark. First pitch he saw, he hit out of the ballpark back in the second inning. That's his second home run of the weekend. He blasted one here Friday night against Rick Russell of the Giants. 1 out, nobody on. The Padres are down 3-1. And that's going to go out of play.
Jack Clark hit a home run his last time at bat, and we tried to show the power points in a hitter's swings right there. You see his extension on his arms and good back leg drive. He's using his legs very well there. It's kind of an inverted triangle here. That's the power position of a good hitter. And then the extension. Look at that. That's just pure power right there. Use his legs and his upper body.
Very nicely illustrated by Joe Morgan. Joe does his own drawing on those. Bass, after a long run, he had it timed. Jack Clark is retired this time.
You know, we're talking about the extension that a power hitter has. We watched Joe Carter, and he's not using his legs to drive through the ball, and that's why he's not illustrating the power that he has really shown in the American League. He had 35 home runs last year, and he is not showing that power so far in the National League because he's really swinging with the upper part of his body.
Now, this fella doesn't care about that. Just give me some more popcorn and the heck with what's happening out there. I love this game, Ma. Bass. And the warning shot. Carter's 0 for 2. 3 down. Atlee Hammaker getting through some difficult sailing there rather easily. 3-1 Giants.
At Ford, we've anticipated the needs of a changing world by completely rethinking the way we make small cars, working to reduce our margin of error to 0. And in creating a new process, we created the new Ford Escort, designed and built to rival the best small cars in the world. Introducing the next Ford Escort, a new line of thought, a new line of cars.
Have you driven a Ford lately?
Beautiful, peerless faucets are guaranteed for as long as you own your home. You see, they're backed by the total faucet and finish warranty. It protects all the parts and the finish of your faucet, and no other faucet warranty can beat it. In other words, the Peerless Total Faucet and Finish Warranty really holds water. Solid, dependable, peerless do-it-yourself faucets. They're backed well because they're built well.
Now available for the first time, the complete recordings of Olga Montero and her magic harp, including such classics as...
Still going. Nothing outlasts the Energizer. They keep going and going.
Checking the National League scoreboard, the Pirates swept the Cubs. Sid Fernandez, a 2-hitter over Montreal. The Phillies swept the Cardinals. Ramon Martinez, a 3-hitter over Houston. And Atlanta, of course, broke that winning streak for Cincinnati. John and Joe.
Thank you, Dave. Dave Barish back at baseball tonight. America's favorite program for baseball fans. 3-1, the Giants are out front. Top of the order, Brett Butler, 0 for 2, facing Eric Schau. Strike one.
It's kind of interesting. Butler's 0 for 2. Now Jack Clark has moved in even closer at first base to take the bunt away. They figured that this would be maybe a time that he would bunt. Jack was even with the bag before at first. Now you can see he's in on the grass.
And Biff Roberts very shallow at third again. 1 ball, 1 strike to Brett Butler. Well, Butler had, what, 23 bunt base hits last year? There it is.
Yeah, and he also bunted 49 times. That's the key. He had the 23 hits, but they know that he will bunt.
So he hit 469 when he was bunting below 300 overall. So that was quite a boon to his average.
Yes, it is. You want to bunt. If you bunt 333, 1 out of every 3, well, you're doing very well because in most cases, you know, most of your leadoff hitters don't hit 333. unless you're Wade Boggs.
2-1 to Brett Butler. That is foul. Just couldn't make it stay fair. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Joe, I know I've talked to some guys who have the great speed, though, who don't bunt that often. You ask them why. And, in fact, I remember Billy North. He played for Oakland with some great teams, and he went to San Francisco eventually. Didn't like the bunt. He said, hey, I feel like I'm taking something away from myself when I bunt. I might hit a double, triple, or something if I swung away.
Well, a lot of guys feel that way, but I think it would have been important for a guy like Billy North to bunt the same as is Brett Butler, because they are base stealers, and they turn that bunt single into a double. So you use that to your advantage. No, it wouldn't be nice for a guy like Jack Clark to bunt, because he's going to have to stay at first base, and he does have a chance of hitting doubles, triples, home runs. But guys like Butler and North, who were basically singles hitters, bunts are great.
3-2. How about Joe Morgan? He had the great speed.
If I had one thing to do over again in my career as a hitter, it would be bunting more. I did not bunt very much. I think I played 20 years. I probably had 15 bunts my entire career. But that would be the one thing that I would have changed if I would have thought about it at the time. But at the time, I was just free swinging.
Yeah, you're too busy hitting home runs and triples and everything else. 3-2 pitch. Foul. Well, that's the thing, though. I mean, maybe if you'd bunted more often, sometimes you hit a home run, you might have not hit it. You would have bunted.
Well, but I think that a bunting would have really increased my average, because the first baseman played me deep, you know, because I did pull the ball pretty hard, and they could, you know, play me deep. If I would have bunted more, they would have had to play me in. It would have been like a guy holding the runner on all the time. It gives you a bigger hole to shoot at over at first base.
Infield backed up now, and Butler skies one to center. Joe Carter, routine play.
I want to show you what I was talking about with Joe Carter as compared to Jack Clark. We get a look at him right here swinging. Freeze it. There you see the good extension of the arms with Joe Carter, but their hips, he is not driving through the ball with the lower part of his body like Jack Clark. You can see he doesn't have the knee bend or the drive with his back. Right there, he swings with all upper arms.
Bobby Thompson. Well, they've got everybody going after this one. Jack Clark will take it in foul ground. Table setters for the Giants. Butler and Thompson have yet to reach base. The two of them are 0 for 6.
And those guys need to get on base in order for the Giants to produce a lot of runs, because you have Will Clark, Kevin Mitchell, Kevin Bass. That's their job, is to bring these guys in. But if they don't get on base, the Giants have trouble scoring runs.
Well, here's Will Clark. You saw the crowd there, and Will Clark grabs their attention every time. He has hit a triple, and then he drove one deep into right center that was caught his last time. That one is deep. Carter back. He's got room now. Shall make short work of the Giants. 3 up, 3 down. We're halfway through it in San Diego. Giants leading the Padres 3-1.
The real test of a power mower is starting it easily on the first pull. That's why Sears is putting 100 Craftsman Eager One mowers on the line. Look at that. 99 first pull starts out of 100. No wonder there are more Craftsmen on the job than any other brand.
And now through Saturday during Sears Show and Sale, this 3.5 horsepower Craftsman lawnmower is only $199. So don't miss it.
Sharp, the first 12-to-1 zoom camcorder, that's who. Sharp, so fully automatic, just turn it on and shoot. The Sharp 12-to-1 zoom camcorder, that's who. While most camcorders stop here, Sharp keeps zooming all the way to here. Beautiful, even in low light. Sharp, the first 12-to-1 zoom. Nobody gets you closer to the ones you love than Sharp. From Sharp minds come Sharp products.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Give me a break. Give me a break. Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat pie. Give me a break. Give me a break. Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat pie.
Got a chocolate crispy taste, gonna make your day. That's why wherever you go, you hear the people say,
Give me a break. Give me a break. Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat pie.
Your sensitive skin needs pampering. but you need all the protection you can get. Introducing Lady Speed Stick Antiperspirant Sensitive Skin Formula. Hypoallergenic, maximum protection. New Lady Speed Stick Sensitive Skin Formula.
Hey, John and Joe, what's the story out there in San Diego? Well, here it is. Hammaker, 4 innings, just 2 hits. Shaw, 5 innings, giving up 3 runs. Jack Clark, a homer for the Padres. Kevin Bass, a 2-run shot, though, for the Giants. And by virtue of that, the Giants have a 2-run lead as Benito Santiago takes ball 1 from Atlee Hammaker. Now, we're in the 5th inning, Joe, and this is where it's going to be interesting with the Hammaker because he's been pitching in relief. How long is he going to be able to go?
Well, 2 things happened with Hammaker here in the 5th inning. First, the Padres have seen him now. All the Padres have gone. He's gone through the lineup a couple of times. They've seen him a couple of times, and this is where he normally starts to have trouble. When you only see Atlee 1 time or maybe 2 in a ball game, he's been very, very effective. But when he's had to face hitters 3 times in the lineup, that's when he really runs into problems.
Riles can't get it. Santiago gets the base hit.
And on top of that, your point is well taken that he's been in relief, not pitching a lot of innings, and now he's into his 5th inning. Santiago came into the ball game as the 3rd leading hitter in the league, and here you see Riles. He gets a pretty good break on the ball, but it's just hit between the hole between short and 3rd. You can see Matt Williams doesn't have a chance to get to it, and even if Riles would have been able to come up with it, Santiago runs too well for him to be able to throw him out from deep in the hole.
So even had Uribe been in there with his superior range, base hit.
Yes, I think that was a base hit all the way.
Out of play by Gerald Clark, who grounded out his first time. You got bullpen activity out there for San Diego. The pitcher, Shaw, due up 4th in the inning.
I think the fact that Shaw, there's Martin Grant, throwing in the bullpen. He's a former Giant. He was involved in a trade that sent Kevin Mitchell to the Giants.
1 strike to Gerald Clark. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I think one of the other reasons that they're warming someone else is you remember Shaw is coming off of arm surgery last year, and you do not want to take him too far too quickly. You got to remember there was also a short spring training, so a lot of starting pitchers did not get to pitch as many innings in spring training as they would have liked.
Popped him up. Will Clark, he's got room near the dugout. Just been a bad night for Gerald Clark, and it's not getting any better.
Well, I tell you what, though, I would be willing to bet you if you watch this kid for the rest of the season, he's going to do a lot of good things on the field, and especially in the batter's box, because he has a very quick bat, and he's very aggressive at the plate. I think you're going to see some numbers put up by this kid before the year's over.
He's been platooning out there. They're looking, I guess, to platoon him right now with the veteran Fred Lynn, the left-handed hitter.
That's a pretty good platoon. Freddie Lynn's a pretty good hitter.
Templeton, double play ball. Riles to Thompson, 1 to first, 2. Double play. And Atlee Hammaker sailing right along. The end of 5 in the Giants, leading the game 3-1.
For millions of Americans, mowing the lawn can be a real chore. Fortunately, Honda's created the new hydrostatic transmission lawnmower. The first mower that lets you choose whatever speed you need smoothly, no matter what you're cutting around. Look into the new hydrostatic transmission lawnmowers at your Honda dealer. They let you mow without the stop and go.
I'd like to make a simple point about a gasoline additive called ProGuard. You see, without proper care, even new car engines accumulate deposits that can lead to a rough-running engine. Fortunately, there's a ProGuard. Added to a single tank full of gasoline, ProGuard's patented Tecron chemistry begins cleaning deposits not only from fuel injectors, but throughout your engine's intake system for a noticeably smoother performance.
ProGuard for a smoother running engine.
BF Goodrich TA tires perform like great athletic shoes. They grab. They dig. They give you control. BF Goodrich TA tires. B.F. Goodrich TA Tires, the athletic shoes for your car.
B.F. Goodrich TA Tires.
Whoa! Frank, I send you for a Bud Light, and you bring back...
Well, Bud Light won't fill you up, never lets you down.
So, there are no men here, there's an unlimited supply of Bud Light, and we can never leave.
Correct.
Everything else is just a light.
We can live with that.
Yeah.
John Miller and Joe Morgan back here in San Diego on that double play. Joe, let's take a look.
Well, one of the things that you do as a second baseman on a perfectly hit double play ball is you come up and you put your foot on the bag and then you go right to the runner. That's his right foot. Normally, you do not go with your right foot across the bag. You put your left foot on, but you can see the runner's not even in the pitcher. When you step toward the runner, he has to get down, or else he's going to get hit between the eyes.
Here's Kevin Mitchell. Strike one. Now, Mitchell drove in a run with a 2-out single in the first, and then led off the fourth with a hard single to left, starting a 2-run rally.
Well, Shaw got the ball out over the plate both times. Now he starts him off this time with a fastball inside. And I expect him to stay right in there. They try to stay inside on Mitchell because he does have the sore hand, and it's tougher to handle the pitch inside than it is the ball out over the plate.
Slugging percentage, and slugging, that's what 1989 was all about for Kevin Mitchell. Extraordinary year. It's hit high in the air. Medium deep right center. Easy play for Green. 1 away. First time they've gotten Mitchell.
Tony Gwynn, not only a fine hitter, but a Gold Glove winner in right field. That's one of the things that I think is bothering Kevin the most is on balls up and out over the plate or up and in. He's driving the ball the other way. He's hitting it in the air, but he's not really driving it like he did last year. And I think that is because he has lost a little bat speed with his wrist bothering him. He can handle the ball out over the plate, but the balls in on the corners he has problems with.
Templeton. And Bass is retired. So not much of an encore performance by Bass after his 2-run homer in the fourth. 2 down very quickly. Nat Williams coming up. 2 down, nobody on. 6th inning, the Giants lead the Padres 3-1. Nat Williams also a key figure for the Giants this year. I mean, they legitimately seem to think he could be a 30, 35 a year home run man.
Well, I think part of that is the reason he is not hitting well right now. His expectations going into this season were so high because of what he did the second half last year. And the fact that he had hit so well in spring training, you know, your expectations gets very high, and all of a sudden you start off not slow, but you're not driving the ball out of the ballpark, and next thing you know, you're trying to make up for the fact that you haven't hit a home run.
When you think about the playoffs last year, the Giants and the Cubs, you think about Will Clark. He was incredible. Mark Grace, amazing. Nat Williams had that one at bat when he hit the home run against Wilson of Chicago. And he's got himself a base hit here. Turned that series around, and he had what, 13, 14 pitches before he hit the home run.
Well, I thought it was a great at bat for Matt Williams. I'm not so sure it was a great at bat for the pitcher because he kept coming after him with fastballs. And finally, Matt Williams caught up with one of the fastballs and drove it out of the ballpark. But the pitcher had in his mind he could throw the fastball by him, so that's what he went after him with.
Don't forget now, Tuesday, don't miss it. A doubleheader on ESPN. And the first one, 7:30 Eastern, a classic. Mark Langston will face Roger Clemens, the Angels at Fenway against the Red Sox. That'll be Tuesday night on ESPN. Terry Kennedy takes ball 1. 2 down, top of the 6th inning. The Giants have 6 hits now against Eric Shaw. Kennedy does not have one of them. He broke his bat on that one. Roberto Alomar. Over to Jack Clark for the putout. 1 hit and 1 man left. The Giants have stranded 4. They lead the game 3-1.
Are you impressed that Ford's been the best-selling truck for 13 years? We're not.
Ford trucks. The best never ends.
We keep making our trucks better. Maybe that's why the sales gap is even wider. Because while we're busy keeping up with tomorrow, the competition is trying to keep up with us.
Ford trucks. The best never ends.
The best-built, best-selling American trucks are built Ford tough.
Life's full of simple pleasures, like the comfort of Levi's jeans. Or had you forgotten?
The problem with most weeds is they have unusually deep roots. And if you don't pull up the whole root, the weeds will grow right back. So this year, try Scott's Turf Builder plus 2 weed and feed. You'll get a great lawn without weeds or your money back. From Scott's.
Maybe the reason more people switch to Glidden than any other paint in the last 5 years is because it lasts year after year, no matter what the weather. Glidden, a better way to paint.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball from San Diego. John Miller, along with Joe Morgan, we're pleased to have you with us. The Giants leading the Padres 3-1, last of the 6th inning. Adley Hammaker's got a 3-hitter going. And this fella's trying to figure out, hey, who's that pinch hitter up there? Wait a minute. Yeah, Mom, it's Sean Abner. Yeah, I got it. And indeed it is. He was exactly right. Sean Abner batting for Eric Schau. Strike one.
As we said at the beginning of the show, Adley Hammaker used to be one of the Giants' top starters. He's been in relief the last 3 years, but he is capable of putting together fine ball games as he's done so far here against the Padres.
Here's Bass, routine play, and Abner is quickly retired. One down in the 6th inning. There's Mark Grant, the right-hander. He was up earlier, so he'll be coming on in the 7th inning.
Third baseman, number 10, Biff Roberts.
Adley Hammaker has only given up 3 base hits as we look at Mark Grant, but he has not struck out a batter. And he has not walked a batter.
We don't have the pitch total at the moment, but it couldn't be very high.
Well, I think the key thing is left-handers, in my opinion, have an advantage in the major leagues if they can throw strikes.
Why?
Because the ball automatically tails away from the right-handed hitter, and there are not a lot of right-handers that can go the other way very well. And they can throw the ball back inside to keep him honest. So if you can throw strikes, you can be successful as a left-hander. You have an automatic pitch that moves away from the right-handed hitter, and pitches moving away from hitters are the ones that they have the most problems with.
So you mean all right-hand hitters are up there trying to go for the glory, trying to hit those 4-baggers?
Not all, but most.
Matt Williams throws out Biff Roberts, who is now 0 for 3. He's grounded out 3 straight times. Who's she talking to, Joe? You or me?
You. Roberto Alomar.
Here we look at Adley Hammaker. As I mentioned, he's kind of a stylish left-hander. He doesn't really hide the ball much from you. Just kind of 3/4, almost straight over the top.
Roberto Alomar gets a look at that motion. Strike one. The top 3 hitters in the Padres batting order, Roberts, Alomar, Gwynn, have all been kept off the bases in front of that power. Showing the bunt. 0-2.
There you see what he's doing so well. He's throwing the fastball away from the right-handed hitter and is tailing down and away. And there's not a lot they can do with it other than pull it someplace on the ground. And he's recorded a lot of ground ball outs in the ballgame.
49 pitches now for Hammaker, and he's breezing along, and he's getting stronger, Joe. He must be got a strikeout here. 3 up, 3 down. 3-1 Giants after 6.
You can teach your kids the fun of golf from the right techniques to the right attitude with the help of a great coach and ESPN home video. Expert instructors from the renowned Ben Sutton Golf School show you how to teach your kids all the basics, plus how to develop the child's natural swing for proper golf mechanics. The emphasis is on fun, and a free phone call gets you started.
Make sure you tap down on the back of the ball a little bit. I'll take that putt anytime.
Teaching Kids Golf is just one of the many Teaching Kids videos available from ESPN, all featuring proven methods from famous coaches. To order Teaching Kids Golf for just $29.95, call 1-800-841-8900. Ask the operator about our other Teaching Kids videos and save $5 when you order two. You'll also receive a free ESPN home video catalog. Teaching Kids Sports is child's play with ESPN home video.
Good news? I still got a few. My IRAs used to be all over town. Banks, mutual funds companies. Now they're all at Schwab, so I can move between investments easily. I bought some zeros, mutual funds, then switched to blue chips, all in the same Schwab IRA. Now when a good opportunity comes along, home run.
We give you more ways to succeed.
Tuesday night, it's a meeting of the 300 Club when Wade Boggs and the Red Sox face the Angels. Then batting champ Tony Gwynn leads the Padres against the Cubs. Tuesday night, live on ESPN.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, brought to you by Mitsubishi, bringing you a full line of award-winning automobiles. See them all at your Mitsubishi Motors dealer. By Honda Power Equipment, makers of innovative and dependable lawn mowers, lawn tractors, and riding mowers. And by Extra Strength Ben Gay, sports medicine in a tube.
And that view of paradise was actually Point Loma, just 8 miles north of the Mexican border near San Diego. The America's Cup was sailed just 3 miles off that point in 1988.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, brought to you by Mitsubishi, bringing you a full line of award-winning automobiles. See them all at your Mitsubishi Motors dealer. By Honda Power Equipment, makers of innovative and dependable lawn mowers, lawn tractors, and riding mowers. And by Extra Strength Ben Gay, sports medicine in a tube.
And that view of paradise was actually Point Loma, just 8 miles north of the Mexican border near San Diego. The America's Cup was sailed just 3 miles off that point in 1988. Here we are in the 7th inning. A new pitcher, Mark Grant, has come on in relief of Eric Schau. Ernest Riles is the hitter. It's a foul ball for a count of 2 strikes. Riles has singled and walked in this game. Mark Grant, Joe, tell me about him.
Well, he has a very good curveball, good overhand curveball, fastball. And his only problems were he'd get a little erratic every once in a while and miss over the plate. But he has a good breaking ball, good curveball.
Still a young guy. He's only 26. Works out of the stretch with nobody on base. That's high for a ball.
There's something I've never been able to understand, I still don't, is why pitchers, you know, even though they're relief pitchers, I understand a stopper doing it because anytime he comes in, he's going to be in a stretch most of the time. But for most pitchers, relievers, I don't understand why they pitch in the stretch.
It's a soaring pop-up. Santiago.
My point is that you're obviously stronger from the wind-up. You can get more push off the mound, and you get in better rhythm winding up. We're going to look at Santiago as he goes back on this pop-up. One thing to remember is the ball goes back, and then it comes back toward the plate. The reverse spin brings it back toward the plate. You see, he goes to the screen, and then he has to come back because the ball will always come back toward the plate.
Here's Hammaker. Strike one. He's 0 for 2 in the game. And he has really, up to this point, kind of bailed out Roger Craig. Emergency starter out of the bullpen. He hadn't worked more than 2 innings in any start.
Well, that's why I say you can never count the Giants out, because last year they had a lot of problems throughout the year, and Roger Craig always had the right answer. And he seems to be able to put the right pitcher in the right spot to get the most out of his staff each and every year. I think the difference between the Giants this year, they had a lot of injuries last year, but last year they were staggered over the whole season. They've been kind of hit with all at once this year in spring training.
That could work out well for them.
Exactly. I think it could be to their advantage because once they get all their guys healthy, they'll be better off than they were maybe last year from having injuries throughout the season. And no matter what people say, you can't win or lose the pennant in April. The Reds are off to a great start, but they can't win it in April. And if you get behind, you're not out of it in April because there are 130-something games left after April, and you always have a chance to make that ground up.
Hammaker strikes out.
Mark Grant throws the ball right by Hammaker and almost a perfect pitch. As you can see, it's blowing away. Even the good hitters don't handle that.
Show me your glove, Dan. Not that close. Jack Clark signed my glove.
Jack Clark signed his glove. I have a ball signed by Jack Clark. I'm happy about that myself.
Here's Brett Butler, leadoff hitter. He's 0 for 3. Jack Clark signed the guy's glove. He hit a home run. He's doing it all out here tonight.
That makes that signature more valuable to the kid. He signed the glove before the game and then hit a home run during the game.
And that's foul.
John, I want to take this time to congratulate Ryan Sandberg on his errorless streak at second base. He broke my record last week that I had set. I'd broken Kenny Hubb's record. Now Ryan Sandberg has broken mine, and congratulations to him, and his streak is continuing today. He's up to 102 games.
Strike 2 to Butler.
And it's quite an accomplishment to go that long without making an error in any position on the field, and second base as well.
Speaking of defense,
there you see the defense they had against Brett Butler. They've now moved back, but as I mentioned, he was still bunt no matter how tight you get in on him.
And that's ball 1.
With 2 strikes, they move back to normal depth.
Well, we'll see Ryan Sandberg next Sunday on Sunday Night Baseball. The Cubs, Ryan Sandberg and company, will be at Dodger Stadium. That'll be our telecast next week. And, Joe, you can congratulate him in person.
Good. Hope he still has it going at that time.
There's Gerald Clark. No problem. Oh, they're on his case here in San Diego. 7th inning stretch time here. The Giants leading 3-1.
In ancient times, an eclipse moved people to powerful emotions. Some even thought it called for a sacrifice. We can understand how an eclipse might produce feelings of excitement, wonder, even awe. But at $10,919, the Mitsubishi Eclipse is hardly a sacrifice.
Welcome, this way. Beautiful thing.
Cool. Ed, look at this. What is it? It says to get Genie Rub Light.
Rub Light?
Rub Light.
It says to get Genie Bud Light.
The clean, fresh taste of Bud Light won't fill you up and never lets you down.
Okay, Ed, now you get a wish.
Bud Light, because everything else is just a light.
For better bat control, there's only one glove crafted with Batard's digital Cabrera leather. Franklin. A batting glove that's a hit with the best in baseball.
Teach your team to play the right way with Major League Baseball's A Coaching Clinic. It's a great training video for coaches, dads, and moms, and a great learning video for individual players. To order your VHS copies, send check or money order for $19.95 to Major League Baseball, Box 88, Trenton, New Jersey, 08561. Or call 1-800-543-7800. New York and New Jersey residents add sales tax. The proceeding was furnished by Major League Baseball.
Beautiful San Diego Sunday Night Baseball. 3-1, the Giants leading. Tony Gwynn told us about hitting against the Giants.
You know, you just go up there and you think for the ball down in the strike zone. You don't look for anything that's going to be up. Think down in the strike zone, and what I try to do, I try to hit the ball the other way because everybody in their staff features a split finger, and for me to hit that pitch, I've got to stay back and try to hit it the other way.
It's Tony Gwynn talking about hitting. against the Giants. That's a foul ball. He has not hit so far tonight. He's 0 for 2, a fly ball and a ground ball against Atlee Hammaker. And this is the part now, we're in the 7th. This is the time of the game where they need him to get it going because the power's coming up, Jones.
And being 2 runs behind, they need a base runners in front of Clark and, of course, Joe Carter.
0-1 to Gwynn. Joe Clark, he fields it cleanly. And Hammaker gets the foot out. And Hammaker continues to do it, and he's doing it throwing very few pitches right now.
Well, he's throwing strikes. You know, that's the whole key. And I go back to the statement I made. Left-handers that throw strikes can win. You find a lot of left-handers having problems throwing strikes, as we see Will Clark, as I mentioned, has become a very good first baseman. You can see leads Hammaker perfectly here. And Gwynn is retired.
There's Jose Uribe now in at shortstop for the Giants, replacing Ernest Riles, a late-inning defensive change out there. Jack Clark, he hit one again here. He hit one earlier, back in the 2nd. Still would not get the Padres back even. Gwynn kept off the bases in this one. Hammaker's thrown about 52 pitches in this game.
Unbelievable.
Norm Sherry, the pitching coach, said before the game they wanted to limit him to about 60 because he just had not been working that much out of the bullpen. He said, I said, well, what's that? Maybe 5 innings or so then. He said, yeah, but what if he only throws 7 per inning? He could go 9. Well, he's not averaging much more than 7 per inning. 2-1. Clark with a home run and a fly ball. He didn't have a real great Jack Clark year last year.
No, but Jack Clark's a guy that produces runs. See, I don't judge a player by a batting average or anything like that. So batting average to me is a personal thing. What you do for the team, how many runs you score or how many you drive in are what's important. And Jack Clark produces runs, and that's what he's done all of his career.
Drove in 94 last year.
See, that's a lot of runs batted in on a team that does not have a guy to hit behind you again. But it also points out how great Kevin Mitchell's year was because, as you mentioned, the guys hitting behind him were worse than the guys hitting behind Jack Clark.
And Clark's got Carter hitting behind him. Carter drove in 105 last year. They want him to reproduce that, and they need him to come close to that.
Right.
3-2. Not many 3-2 counts from Hammaker in this one. Now Kennedy's going to go chat with him here.
Well, the one thing that we talked about with Joe Carter is that the pitchers in the National League are still more afraid of Jack Clark than they are Joe Carter. Joe Carter will have to prove to the pitchers in the National League that he can hit as well as Jack Clark before they stop walking him. And there you see Joe Carter on deck. You know, they look at these numbers, 35 home runs, 106 RBIs, but they say that was in the American League. He has to prove to the pitchers in the National League that he is as devastating a hitter as Jack Clark is before they decide, hey, we're going to pitch to Jack Clark instead of Joe Carter.
3-2 pitch. Well, there's the walk.
I figure it'll be at least mid-season before Joe Carter can have a real impact on the San Diego Padres, because it'll take that long for them to be convinced that, hey, this guy is for real, and we do need to try to get Jack Clark out.
Well, Clark has gotten the walk, as he did so many times last year, and now here's Carter trying to make them pay for that. He represents the possible tying run. Jack Clark has walked 9 times already this year, just about the pace that he threw the walks last year.
Well, like I said, they do not have any respect for Carter yet. I'm sure they will before the season's over.
Double play ball. Uribe to Thompson, 1 to Clark, 2. And Hammaker continues to roll right along now, right at about the 60-pitch mark. He and the Giants leading 3-1 after 7.
If you're considering an Accord or Camry, consider Car and Driver magazine's report on the Mitsubishi Galant after a special 30,000-mile test. They called it an ideal car for a deep and meaningful long-term relationship, adding that over 30,000 miles, not a single thing went wrong with the Galant. That's right, nothing. Nothing went wrong. How many long-term relationships can you say that about? Now you could save up to $1,000 with factory-to-dealer incentives.
Nothing's rougher on a man's face than shaving. That's why there's Skin Bracer. It's more than an aftershave. It soothes, cools, tightens pores, so it's good for your skin.
Thanks. I needed that.
Skin Bracer Aftershave.
By Nene.
Red Devil enamel. You can always count on its durable finish.
Harder than ordinary paints, its beauty lasts and lasts. Red Devil enamel for the finish of a lifetime.
George 117 in pursuit of request additional backup. You copy? 117. Search 16, we copy. Approaching 69 on block. Let's get a roadblock.
More police cars throughout America come on Goodyear Eagle radials than any other brand of tires. Why? Because they want it that way.
Attention all units.
Goodyear Eagles. The authorities know, and it's why we say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
Baseball Tonight has all the highlights, all the news, and all the views every night. If it happens in baseball, you'll see it on Baseball Tonight, only on ESPN.
Checking the American League scoreboards, a couple of extra inning games to start it off. Boston beating Milwaukee 4-2 in 11. Baltimore taking Detroit 3-2 in 12. The Tigers walked 12 in that game, including the winning run. Cleveland over the White Sox, Kansas City, California, Texas, and Seattle, all winners.
Thanks to Dave Barish at Baseball Tonight. And there are some happy young fans out enjoying a night at the ball game. We're in the top of the 8th inning. The Giants have Robbie Thompson at the plate facing Mark Grant. 1 ball and no strikes. Thompson is 0 for 3 after his at bat. Then we get back to the Pacific Sock Exchange, which I thought was one of the great monikers put on any duo. There's the Giants bullpen busy. The man on the right is Ernie Camacho, number 26. There is Andy McGaffigan at the top of the screen. The 1-1 pitch. Strike 2. You think Hamaker's at it, Joe?
Well, you know, it's hard to tell, to be honest with you, because he's continuing to mow guys down. I'm not so sure how much longer they want to go with him. Steve Bedrosian, of course, is their closer. They want to get to him in the 9th inning. No earlier unless they have to, but there you see Hamaker. He seems to be okay.
Way outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
But only he knows how he feels at this particular time.
Well, he's right almost exactly at the 60-pitch limit, which they were imposing before the game. There he is.
When you put 60 pitches on a guy, 80 pitches or whatever, it's an individual thing. How do you know that 60 is enough? Why not 50 or 70? That's a hard thing to calibrate.
And that's foul. Well, on the other hand, the Giants have had so many physical problems with their pitchers. Maybe they figure they got 60 from him. Let's not fool with
go any farther. And that could be a good thought. I mean, it's just a matter of opinion. If Adley says he feels fine, I think you have to leave him in. But if he says, well, well, then maybe it's time to take him out. But those are decisions that managers have to make. And that's why I said this year more than ever before, managers will be more important and have to make so many early decisions because of the shortness of spring training. And most of them will be involving pitchers.
2-2 pitch, and the count is full.
And I think the Giants have the upper hand there because Roger Craig was a pitcher. So he understands maybe a little bit more about pitching than, say, a manager who was a hitter rather than a pitcher.
3-2 pitch, and he walked him. Robbie Thompson hitting in that number 2 spot. They moved him out of there. And take a look at these numbers. He struck out a lot.
And he doesn't walk very often. I think the strikeouts are really the devastating number for a guy that hits second. 133 strikeouts. That's entirely too many for a second-place hitter. But they won a lot of ball games with Robbie Thompson hitting second. So sometimes percentages don't work out in this game. They do not work out like you think they will.
And there's his ground ball to fly ball ratio. And Joe and I are both still trying to figure that one out.
Yeah, well, he hits
an incredible stat, but we don't know what it means. Here's Will Clark, strike 1.
But first of all, I think it means he hits too many fly balls.
I think that's what it meant. 0.8 ground balls per every fly ball, and the league average was 1.2, you see.
Yeah, 1.2 to 1.
Yeah, they'd like him to be more like over 50% better in that statistic. All right. Robbie Thompson at first base. Will Clark tonight, he's hit a triple. He's flied out to deep right center, flied out to deep center. Swinging the bat well. He always does. Very confident up there. He says he goes up there knowing he's going to have success. He just says that's what makes him tick.
They've actually made some very good pitches on him this ball game. What you'll see here is that they get the ball in tight on Will Clark. And he has a spot up and in. freeze it right there. You can see he has an uppercut in his swing. The bat is traveling up, as Ted Williams says it should. And there you see why he pops the ball up. The bat is traveling in an arc that's going up, so he hits the ball up in the air. But that's great, according to Ted Williams, and anything Ted Williams say I believe in. He believes that all great hitters have a slight arc in their swing. He's not a believer in the new theory of swinging down on the ball and things like that. And Ted Williams probably knows more about hitting than anybody that's ever played the game.
And interesting you should bring up Ted Williams here in San Diego.
Because he played here and hit 400, right?
He's from here. He grew up here. A lot of very fine baseball talent came from here, including that man, Kevin Mitchell. Mitchell, 2 for 3 tonight, not hitting the long home run, but he's been very productive. Robbie Thompson at first, 1 out, 8th inning.
I think that's a fallacy that people have about Kevin Mitchell, that he's just a home run hitter. Kevin Mitchell is an RBI man. He drives in runs with singles, double. He does whatever is necessary to get the run in. And we've seen him pick up RBIs the last couple of days by going the other way with a single, and tonight hitting a line drive to left field and lining the ball to center field. So he is really a guy that drives in runs. He's not just a home run hitter.
Popped him up.
But I think he was going for a home run right there.
Well, that would have been the best way to drive in a run in this spot. But Roberto Alomar takes it. Mitchell 2 for 4. And Thompson still over there at first. He finally gets on base in front of the big guys, and then nothing happens.
But if he does that consistently, a lot of good things will happen for the Giants, because first of all, he opens the hole there at first base for Will Clark, and Will Clark will take advantage of it most of the time. And if he hits that ball in the hole, you get runners at first and third. Kevin Mitchell hits a fly ball, and you score a run.
We're in the first week of our search for the perfect climate on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. We're in San Diego. We may have already found it. Next week we'll be in Los Angeles, Dodger Stadium, a great matchup, the Cubs and the Dodgers. And strike one to Kevin Bass, who has hit a home run in this one. And we'll be in Anaheim the week after that. Watch the California Angels.
A lot of great baseball coming up. I mean, a lot of real good teams, good players. I think that's what excites me about baseball, is being able to see all the great players in both leagues, and that's why I'm looking forward to the next 20 weeks or whatever we have left.
Every Sunday night, 8 o'clock, all through the season. Way inside the bats. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, the Giants starting off handcuffed with their pitching problems, and we've talked about that. But still just a lot of fun to watch the Giants, and Clark and Mitchell.
Well, I think that's the key. They're a very interesting team to watch, and Roger Craig manages a very interesting game. I mean, he hits and runs. He does a lot of things on the field that may not be your norm. You know, especially he's a very good offensive-minded manager for a guy that was a pitcher. Normally, your offensive-minded managers were offensive players.
There goes Robbie Thompson. Not this time, Benito. I can't believe he got that throw there. He was not just on his knee. He was falling over sideways. He still put it right on the bag. Unbelievable.
Well, there's no doubt that he is probably the best throwing catcher in baseball today. And to be able to throw the ball that far with something on it, I guess you have to go back to Roy Campanella. He used to do that on occasion. Robbie has a pretty good jump, but Santiago throws this ball right on the money from his knees, and Robbie's barely in. There you can see Gary Templeton making the tag late.
He threw that one from his left knee and falling over sideways. Benito, come on, you can't do those kind of things. Well, the steal is for naught. Bass strikes out. 1 man left. The Giants have stranded 5. They lead the game 3-1 after 7.5.
May the road rise to meet you. May the sun shine warm upon your face. But when it's miserable and you want to look like a million, may you be going in a V6 4-wheel drive Mitsubishi Montero.
Pour it in, pour it on, pour in the Kindle and pour it on.
Now get $3 off every time you buy a case of Kindle's most popular motor oil. Pour it in and pour it on.
And pour it on.
When trouble with your car has you feeling a little wobbly, hurry into your neighborhood Parts Plus Auto Parts store, because you can count on the pros at Parts Plus for the right parts the first time. And right now, you can enter to win the Parks Plus Repair America sweepstakes for one of 5 all-American family vacations to a great destination like Disneyland or Walt Disney World Resort. Car owners of all ages count on the pros at Parts Plus.
We're America's family of auto parts store. We're Parts Plus. Well, I'm southbound, mama. They're coming home to you. Oh, southbound, mama. Oh, that's where I'm going to. Heading for the mountains. I'm just looking for a bush.
After 30,000 miles in the Mitsubishi Galant, car and driver called it an ideal car for a long-term relationship. The reason? Not a single thing went wrong. Nothing. Now you could save up to $1,000 with factory-to-dealer incentives.
Giants 3, Padres 1, ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. And let's take a look at that play again, Joe, as Santiago comes up.
Watch how he throws from his knees, but he gets his body going forward, and he really uses the lower part of his body. Even though he's throwing from the ground, he really uses the lower part of his body to get a good traction. It's like a guy stepping toward where he's throwing. He had all his weight going toward second base, and that's why he's able to do that.
So he's not putting undue strain on his rotator cuff?
He's actually starting his body and all his momentum going toward the throw. So it's really, that's why he's accurate with that. Otherwise, if he was not going toward the throw, he'd throw the ball away a lot more.
Are there coaches around the country now going to watch this, start teaching young catchers to do that?
I doubt it. This is one-of-a-kind situation here.
1 strike to Santiago. Padres need somebody to get on base. And by the way, Hamaker's still out there.
Yes, he is. And still throwing strikes.
And that was his 60th pitch, we're told, of the night. And 44 of them, significantly, have been strikes. This is pretty much his limit for success.
Now I see why they came up with the 60-pitch limit. I knew there had to be a reason.
So even if he had been in the rotation, 60 pitches was about it for him.
The hitters, as I mentioned, after they see him a couple of times, they have been more successful because he does not have one pitch that is overpowering. He doesn't have an overpowering fastball. He doesn't have a great slider or a great change, but he has good command of all of his pitches.
2-strike pitch. Brett Butler trying to back up in this one, but he's got room. That's the wrong place to hit it here.
The ball still does not carry well to straightaway center field here.
Atlee Hamaker. Garelts was supposed to have started tonight, and he's just not physically able. They're hoping he'll start Tuesday. They needed an emergency starter. Hamaker's been in the bullpen. And truth be told, I don't think they could have really hoped for much more than 5 or 6. He had not pitched more than 2 innings in any game in relief this year. Gerald Clark, his long night continues. He's 0 for 3. There's a couple of tough plays in the outfield. 2 down in the 8th inning. We're talking about Hamaker here, Joe.
Here's Matt Williams. He has very good hands for a young player. Watch how he catches the ball out in front of him all the time, right there for all the kids that are watching. Always catch the ball out in front.
Talk about Hamaker. Really, you're talking about the Giants. I mean, when a team wins, a lot of things that add up to a team winning a pennant.
Exactly. You know, you talk about everyone making a contribution. That is what the Giants have done since Roger Craig took over.
Matt Williams throws out Templeton. Well, Hamaker is breezing right along now. He's not given up a hit since the 5th inning. We've played 8. The Giants lead it 3-1.
Homeowners, if you're tired of ordinary mowers that blow clippings everywhere and clumsy bagging mowers that need constant emptying, here's great news. It's the breakthrough mulching mower from Troy-Bilt, a revolutionary new kind of mower that ends bagging and raking forever. The Troy-Bilt mulcher has no discharge chute to spray clippings, no awkward bag to fill up and clog with grass. In fact, the mulching mower doesn't leave clippings at all. Whether you're cutting your lawn, or mulching a blanket of fall leaves, the revolutionary blade and deck design vacuums clippings up to be cut and recut into tiny nitrogen-rich particles. 100% natural free fertilizer that's recycled directly into your lawn. The results are remarkable. A beautiful, super healthy lawn with less time and less work than ever before. For full details on the revolutionary new Troy-Bilt mulching mower, call toll-free 1-800-733-2900. We'll send your free Troy-Bilt mulching mower catalog by return first-class mail. So call 1-800-733-2900 now.
Call now and you can have 13 weeks of the Wall Street Journal and this valuable 120-page guide to understanding money and markets. That's 13 weeks of the Journal for the news and ideas you need every business day. And this guide free, which tells you everything you want to know about money and markets, now for only $34. Call toll-free 800-832-8700. Today's Wall Street Journal. Faster, tougher, smarter. Call 800-832-8700 now.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, 3-1. The Giants over the Padres. We go to the ninth inning. The Padres with a couple of changes. That's Darren Jackson now in left field, replacing Gerald Clark. He'll hit ninth, however, as Jack McKeon has engineered a double switch here. With a new pitcher. As you see, Darren Jackson stretching and getting fully prepared to go after fly balls. There's Craig Lefferts, the former Giant. And he'll hit 7 in the order.
I'll ask you a question. Speaking of the double switch, do you know who's given credit for starting that as a manager? I knew I'd get you.
I heard this somewhere.
Okay.
And
think about it.
Given credit
for being the first guy to do it.
Some people credit Gene Mark with it.
All right.
I got it right?
You got it right, as far as I'm concerned.
It wasn't John McGraw back in the '07?
'07. Well, that was too far back. We're just going to give it to Gene Mark.
Well, hey, there's a lot of things I think he invented.
Yeah, Gene Mark is one of the smartest baseball guys to ever be involved in Major League Baseball.
Here's Matt Williams. He has a 2-strike count. Matt is 1 for 3, facing Craig Lefferts. Now, Lefferts has been installed in a very important role for the Padres. Not tonight because of the score, but they lost Mark Davis, who had 44 saves, won the Cy Young Award last year, and they want him to fill those rather large shoes. And if they're going to be a contender all the way, he's going to have some great success.
I'm a firm believer in the old adage, bullpen by committee. I believe that, you know, you get 50 saves a year. It doesn't matter whether it's one guy doing it like Mark Davis or, you know, for the Giants, Steve Bedrosian or Quisenberry. You have 3 or 4 guys down there who are capable of getting people out, or they wouldn't be in the major leagues. So I believe that you can get 3 or 4 guys to save 40 games. It's the same as one guy saving 40. The number is all that's important.
Bullpen activity. Pat Clements working in the San Diego bullpen, a left-hander. And the Giants, speaking of Steve Bedrosian, the closer, Bedrock, is warming up. We may well see him shortly. We're in the top of the 9th. Got him swinging. Matt Williams is 1 for 4.
Lefferts turns the ball over very well to right-handed hitters, and again, that's why he is successful. He throws a screwball, a slider, has a real good hard slider that he can throw in on the hands of right-handed hitters.
Lefferts has, as you see, Terry Kennedy off to a hot start for the Giants, although 0 for 3 tonight. Strike 1. Lefferts in his 4th game of the year. He's gotten 2 saves and has given up only 1 hit now in 3 2/3 innings. He's another fellow, works from the stretch with nobody on base. Kennedy helped him out on that one. Is that slider you're talking about?
That's a good slider. Breaks down away from the left-hander and in on the right-hander. To take the point a little further about how, you know, winning ball games as a staff. You know, when I was with the Reds and we would win 100 games, they say, well, you didn't have a dominant pitcher. What difference does it make whether it's 10 guys winning 10?
This is Darren Jackson, 2 gone.
Whether you have 10 guys winning 10 games apiece or 4 guys winning 20 and someone else picking up the other 20. I believe that a team that wins 100 ball games, doesn't matter how you do it. You can only win 100, so you have to have a good pitching staff.
Mike Flanagan, Dave Steve, both this week in Toronto talking about that staff. And the fact that once they've gone through 5, they know they can go into the bullpen and they'll be just fine. Flanagan pitched on some great staffs, great starters in Baltimore, but he says never anything like this with this bullpen.
And that's the key right there. I mean, you know, they talk about starting pitchers, and I guess there are some teams that have 4 or 5 good starters. The California Angels come to mind, the Los Angeles Dodgers. You know, a lot of teams have 4 or 5 good starters, but it's still the middle relievers and the short guys that make a staff.
Toronto's loaded with Dwayne Ward, David Wells, Jim Acker, Frank Rose, and of course the big closer, Tom Hankey. Got plenty of support for those starters out there. One thing about the Giants, too, this fellow on the mound, Craig Lefferts with San Diego, was a pretty good support for the closer, Bedrosian.
Well, he's a very good support. He saved 20 ball games before, well, I shouldn't say before, but he saved 20 total, but he was the stopper before they acquired Bedrosian.
Roberto Alomar. Well, he kind of finessed that one, and this is one of the reasons, I guess, he made 28 errors last year.
What happens as you know, when you're a second baseman, is a ground ball hit directly at you, easy routine ground ball, and you just do not get down on it. You lose your concentration. Watch, he doesn't get the glove all the way down. You can see that. On top of that, he charged the ball too much. Could have waited for it and gotten his squatting position and made the play. But that's why he makes a few errors. He hasn't learned that yet.
Uribe is aboard. I don't know if I mentioned that he was up there. Here's Hammaker. Now Hammaker's batting. They've got Bedrosian in the bullpen.
Well, I'm sure that Hammaker will start the 9th inning. But if he runs into any trouble or he gets anyone on base, Bedrosian will come in.
He shows the bunt there. Pulls back. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Darren Jackson, the 9th hitter in the order, will be the first batter for the Padres, and then he'll go to the first, second hitter. But I think Adley Hammaker is out there as long as he can retire him 1, 2, 3. If he gets in any trouble, he'll be out of the ballgame.
Out of play on the foul ball, 1 and 2. Plus, if anybody gets on, Tony Gwynn is due up 4th in the inning. I'm sure they'd rather not see Tony Gwynn.
All right.
Giants lead by 2, thanks in large measure to the batter right here. Adley Hammaker and his strong left arm. That is a foul ball.
As we mentioned earlier, he swings the bat pretty well. He goes up just to make contact. He chokes up on the bat, which a lot of pitchers do not do, and he just tries to put the ball in play.
Adley Hammaker involved in an historic moment with a man in this ballpark tonight who's not playing, ironically, as Fred Lynn hit the first ever Grand Slam homer in All-Star game history against Hammaker. That was a strike 3 and a pitch in the dirt. And Santiago throws him out standing up. Let's see what happens. We go to the last of the night. Giants leading.
Red Devil enamel. You can always count on its durable finish. Harder than ordinary paints, its beauty lasts and lasts. Red Devil enamel for the finish of a lifetime.
BF Goodrich TA tires perform like great athletic shoes. They grab. They dig. They give you control.
BF Goodrich TA tires.
BF Goodrich TA tires, the athletic shoes for your car.
BF Goodrich TA tires.
If you're considering an Accord or Camry, consider Car and Driver magazine's report on the Mitsubishi Galant after a special 30,000-mile test. They called it an ideal car for a deep and meaningful long-term relationship, adding that over 30,000 miles, not a single thing went wrong with the Galant. That's right, nothing. Nothing went wrong. How many long-term relationships can you say that about? Now you could save up to $1,000 with factory-to-dealer incentives.
Life's full of simple pleasures, like the comfort of Levi's jeans, or had you forgotten?
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, brought to you by Peerless Do-It-Yourself Faucets. Peerless installs in no time, lasts a long time. And by Budweiser, the king of beers. Remember, know when to say when.
It's the Atlee Hammaker Show. There's his 66th pitch, and it's ball one to Darren Jackson. Jackson up for the first time, fellow who came to the Padres from the Chicago Cubs last year, in the deal that sent Salazar out to Luis Salazar to Chicago. Then the top of the order follows Biff Roberts and Roberto Alomar, 2-0. Bedrosian's ready in the bullpen.
Yeah, and Hammaker has not been behind very many hitters in this ball game.
And this is what they want to see from Darren Jackson, too, is it not? I mean, take some pitches, work him a little bit.
You can't hit a 2-run homer to tie the game, so you try to get on base any way you can.
They get one base runner. Tony Gwynn will bat in the inning. 2-2. And if they get a couple of men on, then you've got Jack Clark after that. He would be due up fifth.
Hammaker still seems to be throwing well. The fact that 2-0 fastball had good velocity.
3-2. I can think of only one other 3-2 count. I think that was to Jack Clark in the 7th, and he walked Clark, his only walk of the game.
Right.
70 pitches total, 52 strikes. He's only been out of the strike zone 18 times. Well, he may not be long for this game now. Just what they didn't want to see. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Major League Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of Major League Baseball. Well, there's Roger Craig.
And as we speculated, if anyone got on base, Steve Bedrosian would come in. And so he walks his second batter of the game, and here comes Bedrosian.
And this is Bedrosian specially. And Atlee Hammaker, just you can't say enough about what he did. They needed it, and he gave them more than they could possibly have hoped for. 3-1 Giants. Bedrosian coming in, and we'll be back.
Nobody knows. No matter what you do, no matter where you go, you've got to have an ace in the hole.
Bud Light proudly presents George Strait. For Lisa Vinichenko, this is a big day. A very big day.
Welcome to Kentucky Fried Chicken. You ought to try a whole meal.
She'll take it.
Today, Lisa Vinichenko is getting her first taste of America.
The point is not negotiable. No, I'm not budging on this one. I make a lot of very important calls, which is why they asked me to do this commercial for the amazing new GE Crystal Clear cordless telephone. There. You hear it? Well, of course you don't. There's virtually no static, so there's nothing to hear.
The new GE Crystal Clear cordless telephone. You have to not hear it to believe it.
One more cartoon and then right up to bed. Put your mother on.
There you see the Giants ahead by 2. Bedrosian in to face the pinch hitter, Fred Lynn. He is the possible tying run. There is ball one.
John, this is what baseball is all about. You have a power pitcher on the mound and a good fastball hitter in Freddie Lynn. Freddie will be sitting on the fastball, trying to get one that he can drive. Not necessarily out of the ballpark, but hit hard.
That's foul and will come safely back out of play, although Kennedy gave chase. A ball and a strike. Lynn has hit for 2 home runs and only 29 at-bats for this new ball club.
And Freddie is a power hitter. He has 302 home runs in his career.
Now, ironically, Lynn facing Bedrosian. They've been in separate leagues all this time. Bedrosian is from the Boston area and was a great Freddie Lynn fan when Freddie broke in 75 as a Rookie of the Year and MVP in the same year. 1-2 as he fouls it back. And, of course,
I'm sure he's not a big Freddie Lynn fan at this particular moment.
He used to be, yeah, years ago.
when you're a hitter in this situation, and Freddie has already had his 2 pitches to sit on, the fastball. Now he's fouled them. And you have to try to think along with Bedrosian. Will he come with something else other than his best pitch? No. And that would be the way I would guess. You do not want to get beat with your second best pitch or give up a tie ball game with your second best pitch. Bedrosian's best pitch is his fastball. He has a good slider, but his fastball is his best pitch.
Swinging.
Great slider down and in.
Remember hearing Ted Simmons talk about that, though, Joe, in this spot, looking for the best pitch.
Well, you do that up until 2 strikes. After that, you have to hit what he throws. And Freddie is down 2 strikes. Now, Bedrosian starts. It looks like a fastball. Freddie has to commit, and it breaks down and in. That's a perfect pitch in that situation because it broke out of the strike zone.
Roberto Alomar, switch hitter. He's 0 for 3, ball 1. He's 3 for 6 in his career against Bedrosian. And Bedrosian, a lot of people wondering about the story. His young son Cody, diagnosed as having leukemia. That's a strike. And how is Bedrosian able to keep his mind on this?
It has to be tough. Because as everyone will tell you, family comes before baseball.
When he came down here on the trip, he packed his bag. He got here, he opened the bag and found a note that his wife Tammy had slipped into the suitcase. 1 and 2. And the note said, everything is fine here. We're doing fine. Go down there and kick butt.
Well, Bedrosian seems to have a good live fastball tonight.
1-2 pitch. It's very high. And Bass in shallow right center. 2 down. Tony Gwynn coming up. There's Roger Craig.
Well, he's signaling for Will Clark to play off the bag at first base. So they will not give Tony Gwynn as big a hole over on the right side of the infield. He will not be holding Darren Jackson on.
And there's Clark back in your picture. He's just been out at the mound. Has he been, I imagine, among other things, telling Bedrosian that he's not going to?
Well, he's just now telling Bedrosian again that he's playing behind. You see Roger Craig with his hands spread. That means play behind him and off the bag.
Well, here's Tony Gwynn. He's 0 for 3 tonight. There's a strike. Now, over third base, interesting, where Matt Williams is. I mean, he's right on top of the bag there.
Well, they do not want to give up a double, which would put the tying run at second base and so they could score on only a single. They'll give you the single through the infield, but not the double.
Gwynn facing Bedrosian, not his favorite pitch to the face. One ball, 1 strike. Now the outfield, although Gwynn's not a home run hitter, the outfield is very deep.
Well, you have to play deep in this situation to keep the ball in front of you. The old adage goes, if the ball stays in the ballpark, you should be able to catch it. Do not let them hit it over your head with 2 down.
And that's almost right to Bass to end it here. The Giants have come back after losing their first 4 to the Padres this year, and they've won 2 in a row in this ballpark. The Giants are still alive and well in the National League West.
Well, I think the key thing that I've noticed about the Giants is they're always able to bounce back from adversity. They lost the 3 ball games at home against the Padres, but they've come down here and bounced back. They've swung the bats well to score runs, and they've got good pitching from both Mike Lacoste and tonight Adley Hammaker and Steve Bedrosian.
So they got one more to play out here tomorrow night. We'll be back in Southern California next Sunday night. The Chicago Cubs, Sandberg, Dawson and company, and the